Hey friends, welcome to my channel. This is Dr. Rani here. I am a mental health coach and a holistic psychiatrist, and I help you unlock your exceptional brilliance to be the highest version of yourself. And today I'm going to share a topic that has profoundly impacted my life. It is about the concept of the circle of concern versus the circle of influence. So at this time, before we even start, I want you to just pause for a minute. I want you to consider how it is so easy for all of us to get sucked into what's wrong. And it feels like most of the times when we identify things as wrong, it's to do with someone else, or it's to do with something in the past that we can't change anymore. Maybe we have been trying to be a better version of ourselves, or maybe we are trying to fix someone, change a relationship with someone, or change the paradigm of mental health or psychology, or change the coaching industry, or change the music industry, or change how the corporate world is and the toxic culture. It feels beyond our control, right? And I have been there. I have always felt like if only this change was there, if only people behaved a certain way, if only people could see their exceptional brilliance, or if only something happened, and then I would feel so comfortable, or I would feel more at peace. And it doesn't work that way. And we might have to be frustrated for the rest of the life and finally say, I give up. Nothing can be done about it. And I'm saying this because it's so human to really get sucked into what's not working. Not just in our lives, but in the lives that we really care for. Our loved ones. Or maybe people we line manage, or people in our team, or extended family, or just neighbors and clients. It feels like if only they could see things differently, I would be at peace. So that's a starting point. And I know I've come a long way, and I can still get sucked into that from time to time. But the beauty of embarking on a journey is that you start noticing that more and more, and then you ask better questions. So today's video is about how can we shift our energy from something that's not serving us or anyone else for that matter, and shift that energy to building something that we want to create in our life to see more often. So I hope you are as excited as me to delve into this topic a bit deeper. We all have what is called the circle of concern. The circle includes all the things we are worried about or that grab our attention. So it could be our health, our finance, our relationships, or the economy, global events, politics, or even what's happening on social media. Now, the thing is that when we are focusing on the circle of concern, we get more and more concerned. Remember, what we put our attention on grows. So it's like taking the watering can and watering the circle of concern, and guess what? It gets bigger and bigger. And the more thinking we put into the circle of concern, the more in a way we are sowing seeds to get more and more concern. And then we find ourselves watering the plants because we are concerned about it, obviously, that we are ruminating on it with our thinking, misusing the power of thought. And as a result of this, we feel drained in energy, we can't sleep well, we worry too much, and we just feel more and more frustrated. And I don't know whether it sounds familiar to you or not. I have been there so many times. And maybe you have been caught up in the stream of constant like low-level fear or worry, and been stuck in a what if this goes wrong, or what if someone says this if I show up on social media or I speak my truth. So there's a lot of what ifs. And how the mind works is that when we have what if questions, what if this goes wrong, the mind is going to project the worst scenario, and it genuinely feels true. As a result, it not only drains our energy, but it also stops us from taking the action that we know we need to take. This is what people might say procrastination. We procrastinate, or we end up procrastinating. And at the same time, this circle of concern is getting bigger and bigger. I'm sure by now you get my point, right? So you might want me to move on to the next point, which is the good news. The second concept is the circle of influence, the power of diligent focus and conscious creation. This is the area where magic starts to unfold in our lives. This is the good news. Your circle of influence includes all the things you can actually affect or control. And initially it might seem like a small thing. Oh, my circle of concern is huge and my circle of influence is tiny. That's okay. At least we have got a starting point. And you'll find instead of watering the plants, the thoughts in the circle of concern, when you shift your focus to the circle of influence and you start to sow positive, optimistic thoughts there, you start watering them, it grows. There's no other way, it just grows. You start to see possibilities. You start to live in the land of possibilities more and more, rather than in the land of stories about what is not possible. Now, if this is not exciting, I don't know what is. And rather than entertaining the what if questions, we start to shift that to even if this is going on, I can still choose to focus on this instead, or I can still focus on the goal. So even if I think this person is quite annoying, that's okay. If this person needs to be in my life, say they are your loved ones, how can I find the goal in them? And I have talked about this in my previous videos. So it's about shifting our energy, our focus from what is so concerning to what is already good about them, and starting from that place. Now, I'm not saying that you need to dismiss everything that's going wrong or that you are in denial. I'm not saying that at all. But I know that when I thought I had to start fixing someone, that didn't go down well. I came from a place of being so negative and skeptical and more critical that the more I tried to change them, the worse it got. And so the more I've started to focus on what's already good in them right now and focus on that, and I speak from that place, I then have a bigger influence in the life by my way of being. And I'm going to share some examples about that later on. Instead of focusing on what is beyond our control and complaining about that and ruminating about that, it's about what you can do, the actions you can take, and the habits you can build to create the outcomes you want. And the more time and energy you spend in this circle of influence, it will just keep growing, and you will feel more and more the positive vibe, the positive energy, or high vibrational living that I talk about coming to you more effortlessly, and the bigger impact you have in your own life and also in the lives of others around you. So let's think about this practically. I want you to pause for a second and just take a deep breath and ask yourself, what in my life can I truly influence? And I want you to just slow down and just keep it simple. Think of something simple and small. It could be how you start your day in the morning. It could be what you can do to improve your health. It could be one small step you can take in terms of your job or sorting out your finance, or one simple thing you can do on a regular basis to improve your relationship with your loved ones. And the more and more you focus on what is in your control and build it up with regular practice and habits, you will find that you feel empowered from inside out and you get to see results. At this stage, I would like to introduce to you another concept, the concept of systems. And this is the secret behind results. Now, I have been reading a fantastic book by the godfather of coaching and another powerful coach called Trevor. And the name of the book is The Power of Systems. Oh my goodness, you will just love it. And I've been getting so much out of this. The Power of Systems. I highly recommend you check out this book. And I will tell you how it is applicable in what I'm talking about. What does the power of systems have to do with the circle of concern and the circle of influence, right? Well, I would say systems are everywhere. Whether it's conscious or unconscious, you have got a system of going about your life. If you want to expand your circle of influence, you might want to start with looking at what is your current system in a particular area of your life where you think you can do better, and how can you improve the system, especially if you are not enjoying the results you're getting in this area. So let me slow it down a little bit. Let's give you an example that will drive home the point and is very, very basic. We all have a system to look after our oral hygiene. And we picked up the system when we were very young. As a child, our parents would have taught us how to brush our teeth. So we brush our teeth every morning. Some of us do it every night as well before bedtime. And that's become a routine. It's become a system for us to look after our oral hygiene. And we don't even think about it as a system. But that is so ingrained in us, and that's a positive system. We get up in the morning and then we brush our teeth. Some people might not do it straight away. They might have their breakfast and then brush the teeth. Doesn't matter. They have a different set of systems depending on their conditioning, how they were raised, what culture they were raised in, what was the home culture as well. So we all have a system to look after oral hygiene, and some of us do flossing, some of us don't, but there are consequences. If we are having good dental oral hygiene, and the dentist and the hygienist we go to are giving us good feedback, and we don't suffer from pain or anything like that, we know we are doing a good job. And if we miss brushing our teeth for a few days or weeks just because we can't be bothered, there will be consequences, right? So this is a very, very simple example of system. Similarly, we might have a system of looking after our health. At the moment, I have a system for looking after my physical health. So I committed to my health and fitness like never before. And one of my non-negotiables is going to the gym 3 times a week. I go to the gym and I have a routine that I follow through. Let me share with you an example of my health and fitness goal and the system I've created around it, thanks to the incredible program I am part of and my amazing coach. Shout out to you, Archana. So this year, I committed to really taking my health and fitness to another level. So I have got a system in place which is fantastic. And part of the system is me having some non-negotiable goals. Let's just take the example of going to the gym 3 times a week and working out. So I've been doing regular strength training. And there has been a huge improvement in my strength, in my fitness levels, thanks to the system. And I did not start with the weights I'm doing at the moment. I started small. And over time, because of this system of showing up to the gym, no matter how I felt, that was not the point. Even if I didn't feel like going, I would still make it a point to go 3 times a week and do the workout as intended. And I have seen a shift in my health and fitness. This is a beautiful example of system that works for me. So I'm expanding my circle of influence, especially when it comes to my health and fitness, by following a simple system. Before, my system used to be, okay, I'll go to the gym 3 times a week, but I don't feel like going, so maybe I'll skip it this week. Maybe I'll just go twice, and maybe next week I'll go 3 times, and then something else will come up. And I've realized that that was the system too. And I got the perfect results because of the system I was following then. But when I stopped to think about what system really serves me, I realized that my current system works much better than the previous system of just relying on my thoughts and feelings. If I felt like going to the gym, I would hit the gym. If not, I won't go to the gym. So I hope you get my point. Let me give you another example of how systems can be amazing and why, when we build up the systems, we are also expanding a circle of influence. I would love to talk about my relationship with my husband, Suraj. And I know I've shared that in my previous video where I talked about the concept of I Luaigu. I love you and I've got your back. If you have checked the video, go and check it out. My friend and fellow coach called Otto Collins talks about the concept of $4 marriage and $1 million marriage. I love it. What I'm beginning to see more and more is that there is a system also when it comes to relationships. Think about it. If you're experiencing your relationship as $1 million marriage, you have got a system that gives you the result. If you're experiencing your relationship as a $4 marriage, there's a system in place. What do I mean by $4 and $1 million marriage? Well, thanks to my friend Otto. This is how I understand it. Most of the time, we settle for a $4 marriage, meaning the honeymoon period is over. And then we get used to the other person and we take them for granted. And we stop nurturing the relationship. And as time goes by, we drift apart. And then we think, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with this relationship? Or we might decide to stay together just for the sake of the children. It's not a judgment here. And I have been there too in the past. Like I thought, oh God, why is that relationship not working? And I can say hands on heart that we both wanted to improve our relationship. We did not like that $4 relationship. And over time, because we had been doing our own inner work and we really wanted to make a relationship work, we kept working on our relationship. But the shift really happened when we kept improving the system. And the system we have got at the moment is giving us the results that we always wanted to. Is unbelievable. We both are so much in love with one another after all these years of being together. And we have got a system in place that I shared in the last video. The system we have got in place is our 2 non-negotiables. You can see the system we have got is waking up with love. That's a system. What do I mean by that? We wake up every morning and we have got a system of sending each other morning messages if we are away from each other, or if we are together, we sit down in the morning with a cup of coffee in our hands and then say what we are grateful for in our relationship. That's how we start a day. Similarly, at night time, we spend time acknowledging one another. 3 things that we have noticed about the other person in the last 24 hours that we want to acknowledge them for. And if we are away, we call each other up by WhatsApp video and do the acknowledgement. It doesn't seem like a doing. It feels like a beautiful practice of affirming our love for each other. And I can honestly say that as we are nurturing the relationship, it's like this cup of love is overflowing and love spills over everywhere. It's spilling over with the relationship I have got with my eldest daughter, the relationship I have got with my younger daughter, the relationship I have with my clients and my extended family and my colleagues, you name it. So that's the beauty of having a system and creating that system consciously. At this stage, I would like to point out that none of this is rocket science. You get to test it out. You get to experiment with this. Rather than analyzing your thinking, analyzing whether you feel like doing something or not, and how something is beyond your control, you are experimenting as to how you can expand your circle of influence. You are taking more ownership of your life, and it feels good. It feels so empowering. You realize that your energy is expanding. You realize that you are so ready and feeling so blessed to just step out and be yourself, be your authentic, exceptional, brilliant self. So the key here is small actions. Don't underestimate the power of having a simple system in place to bring you back to the now, to bring you back to the circle of influence, to step away from the circle of concern, and then start there and say, even though this is going on, even if this is going to happen, this is how I choose to respond. And you'll find that as if by magic, as your circle of influence expands, the circle of concern begins to shrink. How incredible is that? And you will know what I'm talking about when you have an experience of that. So don't believe anything I'm saying. Just test it out. Check it out for yourself. And now I'm going to share with you some practical steps to shift from the circle of concern to circle of influence. So the first step is start by identifying your concerns. Write down all your concerns, everything that annoys you or bothers you on a day-to-day basis. And you might come up with lists of, 5, or you might come up with 20 or even 100, and see if there are any common themes. What are the things that concern you about yourself or your habits or your behavior? So that's one category. What are the things that concern you or bothers you about other people? Write it all down, mainly the main themes. And finally, what are the things that bother you about the world? Again, find the themes. And so you will find that in these 3 areas, when you're thinking about things that concern me about me, my health, my job or finances, or my relationships, okay, that's one category. Then you check the things that worry you about other people, and then the things that worry you about the world. And just write it down and see which ones can you really focus on from now on. Meaning, step 2, focus on what you can influence. This is where you take a second list and write down all the things that you can actually take action on based on the previous list. These are areas where you can make a difference, whether through changing your behavior, your own habits, your mindset, anything. Just write it down. Number 3, examine your systems. In each area of life that you have identified as you can have a better influence on, ask yourself, what system do I currently have in place, and is it working for me? And just be honest. And if it's not working for you, take a small step towards building a new system that supports your goals. As simple as that. And what you'll find is, number 4, taking consistent action is the key. Remember, it's not about drastic changes. You might have a goal of losing, 10 kilos. And then if you start with, like, I need to lose 10 kilos, you'll feel overwhelmed. If that's your goal, and your goal is to not just shed those 10 extra kilos, but you want to get into a healthy lifestyle, then you can start looking at what's your current system, what is working, what is not working, and come up with a system that is going to be not based on your thoughts and feelings, but more on what you need to do. And you might say, but Rani, I don't know how to find out what I need to do in order to lose 10 kilos. There's something which is free and available to everyone. Yes, I'm talking about Google, our friendly Google. Just Google and check it out. We are not lacking information. It's not a how to, it's a want to. If you really want something, then there are lots of information. And how do you take the information and then use the information to create a system that works in your life? Because soon, just like brushing our teeth in the morning, when you start with a simple system and just build up on it, and your system, one of the systems could be system of consistent practice, taking consistent action, tiny actions, but it's consistent, and it does not rely on your thoughts and feelings, but it relies on you just following those steps. You will find that not only is your circle of concern shrinking, but your circle of influence is expanding, and you feel this expansive energy. Your vibrational energy shifts from low to high, and that is available to all of us. I hope you found this useful. I would like to leave you with this thought. You have more control, more agency over your life than you think. You have more ownership about your life. You do not need to go about life feeling like a victim and done to, and feel at the mercy of what we call other people or external world or even the past. We can start today. We can start today by sowing the seeds of possibility, by stepping into that space of possibilities and allowing ourselves to drop the stories, the limiting stories of what we can do or what we can't do, what we can control, what we can't control, what we can influence or we can't influence. It all begins with having an honest look at ourselves, not judging ourselves, accepting where we are, and asking the right questions. Not what if, even if. Not problems, but solutions and possibilities. Not victim stance, but ownership stance. And life is beautiful. You'll start to feel more and more blessed. I'd love to know how you found this video and the contents. If you like the contents, and check out my other videos, and do give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe to my channel.